really thanks to all of you for joining. We're just so appreciative of those who are joining newly and those who've been supporting RCMAR for, I guess, decades now. Thanks to all of you. I think we are running a minute or so late, so I think I'll just go right into the introduction of our special guest speaker, Dr. Patricia Jones, who actually is a repeat speaker. We've been graced by her presence before and really enjoyed her talk last time, and particularly for the younger folks, the junior investigators, hoping you'll really pay close attention to what she's saying. So Dr. Jones is the director of the NIA Office of Special Populations. And in this position, she advances the science of eliminating health disparities and really advising other senior staff on research related to underrepresented populations. She also directs the NIA Butler Williams Scholar Program. I know some of you have been there. I went there, really, it was valuable for my career. So if you have any questions about that, I'm sure she would be the one to speak to. She also has a leadership role in UNITE, the new NIH initiative to end structural racism in biomedical and behavioral research. And the most important thing, though, for me is that she's also a Bruin. I think she told us last time that she got her PhD from, or doctoral degree in public health from Loma Linda, but her master's in public health from UCLA, as well as other degrees. So Dr. Jones, thank you so much for joining us, and please go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you so much. I am really, really pleased to join you this morning at your scientific retreat. And yes, I am a proud Bruin, class of 94 for the School of Public Health. And I'm very, very happy to be in this space. This is an exciting time for NIH right now, and for NIA in particular. And I'm just going to move quickly into my remarks. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Let me move this out the way. So NIA has the distinct privilege of addressing health disparities research with the eye toward improving the quality of life for all older adults. And I want to just say a few words about what makes our institute particularly well poised to address this topic. NIA leads a broad portfolio of research to better understand the nature of aging and extend healthy, active years of living. It was originally established as an institute in 1974 and serves as the main agency, federal agency that supports the conduct of research, particularly in the space of Alzheimer's disease. We have a budget of just shy of $3.9 million. We're still at FY21. But in that space of $3.9 billion, we're able to support and conduct research that spans the full spectrum of activities, from genetic research to biological, clinical, behavioral, social, and economic research, all with an eye toward understanding what drives healthy aging and how we might support and benefit all older adults. We also support activities that foster the development of research and new scientists, clinician, public health, and other. We provide resources to support the research enterprise, and we disseminate our findings and discoveries that our awardees help facilitate bringing about to our stakeholders in the scientific community, the lay community, healthcare professionals, and of course, other researchers to spur new questions. We do have a strategic directions document, which serves as our planning guide. It is a point of reference for us in terms of how we go about identifying every 5 years our priorities. And the guide reflects 3 major goals, which is to understand the dynamics of the aging process, to improve well-being and independence for all adults as we progress in age, and to support the research enterprise more broadly. I mentioned that we had $3.9 billion as a budget specifically for our institute, and that's consistent or reflects a larger budget of about just shy of $43 billion for the agency. That support reflects a modest increase to our base and is disseminated to support all of our programmatic divisions, which we have 4 programmatic divisions, and other activities. The president did put forward his budget in late spring. The Senate and the House have had conversations, but today we operate under a continuing resolution through December 3 of this calendar year. This slide is really just to illustrate that, as you can see, from 2017 onward, we've experienced a significant bump up from our congressional allocation. And that additional resource has been particularly pronounced in the Alzheimer's space, so allowing us to support a growing body of research activities related to Alzheimer's disease and other related dementias. That being said, with the additional funds that we've received from Congress, about a third support new or early stage investigators, and about a quarter of those resources have allowed for people completely new to the Alzheimer's space and new to aging research to join the conversation and discourse. So how are we organized, and how does the parts of NIA work together to materialize important changes with these additional resources? The Office of Special Populations is among a few offices in the OD suite. The office is charged with catalyzing research across the Institute and more broadly across the agency and HHS and with our non-government partners. Our primary charge is to promote redressing disparities by encouraging researchers to explore differences in life expectancy among populations and research that would identify those factors leading to disparate health outcomes. One of the activities that the director provides is to serve as the executive secretary to the Task Force on Minority Aging Research, which is a standing task force to our council to support pathways into the workforce. As was mentioned, we do coordinate and organize the Butler Williams Scholars Program and stand on the shoulders of giants, where we've enjoyed a 30-year rich history of hosting this training. It was formerly known as the Summer Institute on Aging, and we changed the name in 2013 to reflect the first two directors of NIA, and it's now known as the Butler Williams Scholars Program. We also, the office also has a role in the diversity supplement space, in that I serve as the co-chair for our Institute's Committee on Diversity Supplements. And we convene the annual directors regional meeting for Dr. Hodis, where the division directors and Dr. Hodis engage institutions with less aging research, helping them to be better aware of NIA funding. Of particular interest are collaborating with minority serving institutions and others that are in that space. Our programmatic divisions, and there are four, support the broad range of activities. The Division of Aging Biology, focusing on basic, applied, and translational related topics, has recently hired a deputy director, Dr. Stacy Carrington Lawrence. And in her background and expertise, she will be working to build out the Division of Aging Biology's focus on health disparities and a growing interest in projects that engage the human population and answer important questions related to older adults. So that is a new and evolving scientific portfolio underway. Of course, we have our Division of Behavioral and Social Research, which is focusing on elucidating pathways by which our social and economic and behavioral factors impact the health of older adults, identifying causal mechanisms, targeting those mechanisms, and supporting cross-cutting themes that are looking at the understanding of and addressing of disparities, the life course perspective on aging, and the biobehavioral, biosocial integration. You're very familiar with the RCMAR, obviously, but we also support Roybal demography and economics centers, as well as the research networks and data resource centers through the management and oversight provided by the program staff in this particular division. We do have a division of geriatrics and clinical gerontology, focusing on the maintenance of health and independence for older adults, improving functional abilities of older adults, and looking at clinical trials in terms of prevention as well as treatment and aging mechanisms that may impact the span of health and longevity. And we have our neuroscience division. Our division of neuroscience really is charged with advancing research to better understand the mechanisms of brain aging. There's a very pronounced portfolio of Alzheimer's disease and other related dementias, including Lewy body vascular and other types of dementia, and all of these areas highlighted here speak to the various subspecialties or areas that our portfolios are, that the program officers support reflect. We do have an intramural research program. I mentioned the Butler-Williams Scholars Program, and I will say that among the Butler-Williams Scholars engaged every year, we make a concerted effort to engage a few of our intramural scholars and fellows as well, because we certainly want everyone to be informed and apprised of disparities and how health disparities manifest, irrespective of the spectrum of work that they're doing, whether it's laboratory, data science, or something else. And within our intramural research program, their focus there is multidisciplinary in nature, looking at phenotypic, biologic, and functional manifestations of aging, and with an eye toward better understanding how genetic, demographic, cultural, environmental, and behavioral factors all play into the trajectory of aging and how health may manifest differently with different groups. We have 10 laboratories focusing on particular scientific areas and specialized branches. Among those 10, most of our intramural staff are in the Baltimore area, but we do have an intramural presence on main campus in Building 35. So many of you are aware that in addition to a broad range of research funding mechanisms, we have a robust offering of training opportunities and career development opportunities. And this slide really is just to illustrate, and I want to emphasize that our diversity supplement mechanism is available for the full range of activities, from high school students being better engaged and made aware of potential careers in biomedical research through faculty. And some may not be aware that they may support high school students using a diversity supplement, but that is the case. And that is a mechanism available for high school students. And I would encourage, as you're thinking about how you might collaborate with Francisco Bravo Medical or King Drew Medical Magnet or other high school institutions in your area, that this might be one mechanism available to support the growth and interest in that field. I just want to point your attention to a few resources. We do have an excellent training officer, Dr. Maria Carranza, who joined us last year, and she is in our Division of Extramural Affairs in the training office, and very happy and available to speak with anyone who may have specific questions about various training career mechanisms. This link at the top will take you to a newly revised webpage that we've updated recently, highlighting various mechanisms available to the research community. Of particular interest related to diversity and other resources, we do support the F31 Diversity Pre-Doc Fellowship, T32. We have something through our BRAIN initiative, specifically looking at predoctoral support, the F99. We are continue to support our Mosaic K99, which is also a means of engaging underrepresented investigators into the space, and have resources for early scientists as well. And specific to AD and ADRD, we have diversity and translational research resources and small grants for the next generation. What's not on this slide, and I do also want to encourage, if there are those of you interested in the entrepreneurial aspect of aging research, our Office of Small Business Research also provides resources to help support the exploration and interest related to small business and entrepreneurial opportunities. So just taking a minute now to transition to the bigger picture of what's at play. This is a really exciting time at NIH and within aging in particular. Earlier this calendar year, Dr. Francis Collins announced the agency's launch of the UNITE initiative, which is focused on ending structural racism. I, along with my colleagues, Dr. Michelle Evans in our intramural program and Ms. Melissa Espinosa, who's in another OD office, are all representatives to the UNITE initiative. I am on the E committee, specifically looking at the extramural research ecosystem. and have the privilege of working across the agency, looking at important topics and factors that may impact how we go about engaging the extramural community. In addition to Unite, the Common Fund, which is a program managed through our Office of the Director at the OD level, NIH OD level, has launched an initiative to look at promoting transformative research to address health disparities and advance health equity. There have been 2 funding announcements supported thus far, and they have since posted on their website plans to reissue the existing RFA in the near future. So that notice has been posted, and myself, along with Dr. Liz Nielsen, the Division Director for our Behavioral Social Research, are the 2 representatives from NIA to this transformative research initiative working group across the agency. Many of you may be aware that Dr. Hannah Valentine retired at the end of last year, and our very own Dr. Marie A. Bernard, who served for 13 years as the Deputy Director for NIA, moved into a detail, and then shortly thereafter was selected to become the current head of the Office of Scientific Workforce Development. And I'm very pleased that under her leadership, quite a bit has come together and continues to evolve. Among them is further developing and building out a role known as Diversity Catalyst that Dr. Valentine originally established, but now we are growing and increasing our focus on extramural related activities. The role and the purpose of the Diversity Catalyst is really to leverage people who have in-depth knowledge of their particular institute or center and a deep commitment to move the conversation forward with respect to diversity and inclusion, to convene thought and experiences from the workforce space on how we might improve workforce diversity and transform thought into meaningful action. I have the privilege of representing NIA on this committee, and we continue to engage and provide assistance in how we go about tailoring the diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives to reflect the various cultures across the 27 parts that make up NIA. Some of you may be familiar with, but for those that are less familiar, we also have been supporting for several months now the SEAL initiative, which is one of 3 major efforts to address COVID-19 and health disparities, particularly among communities of color that have been heavily impacted with disproportionate rates of COVID-19. The SEAL initiative is really charged with providing trustworthy science-based information through ongoing active engagement and outreach to people who are heavily impacted by COVID-19. On the backside, we do have 21 current grantees, but on the backside, there are a number of NIH Institute and Center representatives that work in tandem with the leadership from Heart, Lung, Blood, and from the Institute of Minority Health and Health Disparities to facilitate that nationwide conversation focusing on how we go about addressing the major impacts of COVID-19 in specific communities. And again, the Office of Special Populations has the privilege of representing NIA on the leadership committee for SEAL. There are many things that I've touched on and several more coming in the future, the near future. One way to stay connected and informed is through our blog. To the right of this is just a couple of recent examples of blogs highlighting very important health disparities and diversity related topics, one of which Dr. Hodis and myself penned, looking at our unyielding commitments to research workforce diversity, highlighting some of our funding mechanisms available right now, and earlier blog addressing our interest in forging a new path and promoting aging researchers to end structural racism and discrimination. On the 21st of this month, we will be hosting Research Diversity Day, and I'll just do a spoiler alert. There may be a short video on YouTube speaking to the importance of Research Diversity Day and diversity supplements. And with that, I will bring my comments to a close and happy to take any questions.
All right, thank you. Dr. Jones, appreciate your thoughts and insights into opportunities, and really happy to see the direction that the NIA and NIH are headed. So again, thank you, and hope you can stay for much of what's to come with our retreat.